Oh, 18. I do. I would say something like that. We're talking when you're sitting. Ready? What we just, somebody else. Good morning. I'll call this meeting of the airport committee to order. Can we have a roll call? Is Rebecca here?
Yes, she is. She's going to do roll call.
Okay.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca.
Okay, here's roll call. Rod Billingsley,
Present.
Bob Witters,
Present.
Carrie Lane,
Present.
William Brainerd,
Present.
Counselor Michael Montoya,
Present.
Daniel Goulet,
Present.
Mike Provine.
Present.
And Arnold Lopez and John Aragon cannot make it this morning.
So
It's just us.
it just does.
Okay. Thank you. First item on the agenda is, first item for approval is the approval of the agenda. I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Bob Witters,
Second.
second. Thank you, Doc. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes for our last meeting. Gentlemen, those were emailed to you, and I think you've had an opportunity to review those. Do we have any additions, corrections, deletions, or changes?
I wasn't here, so. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the minutes as written.
Motion to approve,
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Those are for April 9th.
Yes, sir.
That was the last-
I just put the
last
record.
meeting.
Next item on the agenda is public comments. Do we have any public comments?
There were no public comments at this time.
No public comments. Okay. Next item is new business. Do we have any new business anybody would like to bring to the committee? Okay. Not hearing any response, I think we'll move on to discussion items. We've got fairly short list today, so and I guess first item is status of the crack seal and pavement markings. Is that basically finished, or where are we at on that?
And Mike,
Mr. Chairman, committee members, good morning. Hope you can hear me. It's 98% complete. We're talking to the construction contractor to come back through. It'll be probably September to do a little more surface seal and to pick up some cracks that were not picked up the first go around. So they'll be back probably September timeframe. So I'll coordinate with John on that. Shouldn't see any real closures. It'll be pretty minor work, if you will. But anyways, that project went well, I think. So
Where is it? Where are the deficiencies? Right?
There's some cracks along the taxiway edge that we need to go back and they either the crack seal actually settled in the crack rod, or they just missed them. And then there's a piece of the down in the hangar area that we need to surface seal.
Okay.
Do you believe that any of that would require the closure of the airport temporarily?
No, sir. No, we this would be fairly quick. Of course, depending on the weather, that surface seal sets up pretty quickly. So we might have some. I don't think it'll affect any of the operations there. We may have some temporary diversions on the taxiway, but we'll work that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of that could be handled with a NOTAM, no problem.
Absolutely.
Well, I was really, I felt like the job came out looking nice. Like I was happy with it. But obviously if there's places that are missed, we need to take care of them.
Yeah, I think, we don't get to do this, well, it's becoming more often that we're doing this just because the funding doesn't allow us to do anything more. But while they're in the area, they're actually out of, this group's out of Tucson, and they're going to be pretty much in the state, in September. They're going to be working on Clovis and Port Sumner, whatever. So they'll be in there. So we thought it was a good time to come back in. Hopefully it won't be raining. We'll get them back in there just to clean up some stuff.
Okay. Well, I sure thought it was a nice looking job, and the strapping makes a big difference. It really does. It kind of finishes off the job.
Yeah, it really does. One of the things I tell people, younger engineers, if you will, to a lot of people, it doesn't matter what you do to the pavement, it's the striping that counts because that's what people see. So we've had some recent bad experience with other contractors on striping, so that's a little bit of a tender subject right now with me. So I'll leave it at that.
Any other discussion this item? Okay, then we've got the lighting and signage project. What's the status of that? Have you heard anything from, as far as the equipment delivery or?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner, committee members. Last we talked to Electric Horseman, they were lacking 2 signs, I think. I'll check back with them. They were targeting middle of this month to get back out there. And those again, we'll work around and keep one runway open, of course, at all times so we can operate. We'll probably handle it with NOTAMs. I'll get with John on that. We'll probably have to close. We'll have to close some of the pavements while they're in there working, but we'll keep the work separated so we can keep operations going. I'll report back here. I'll get with Electric Horseman probably later this week to make sure their schedule's still on for this month. And then that complete that project.
Okay. Any other discussion? Status on the mower equipment. I understand we do still have a mower is that right?
Yes, we do have a big one that's on order. I did talk to John and he let me know that it should get delivered to where Desert Green the end of the month, and he should receive it early next month in August. So hopefully everything goes as smooth, and that'll be to complete the grant.
And I might add on that, we're seeing these deliveries, Moriarty, for instance, they're the long lead on this equipment. It's incredible. I don't think they're actually they don't build the equipment until you give them a purchase order, I think. And then it's just, they're expecting theirs. They were expecting theirs last month, similar to you guys, and it just keeps getting pushed back. So, not sure what the solution there is, but it is taking a long time for any equipment.
Well, it's hard to take care of the grass on another with a 0-turn mower, and that's that. And then that little, I guess you got that little, what is it? The little tractor.
Yeah, so the Batwing still works, the big one. They still utilize that to go and take care of most of it. No, they won't go ahead and stop using that until the new one does arrive.
So they had some.
Yeah, they do have.
They've got some.
They do have and it still runs good. I mean, they've added service and stuff.
Well, now they've got the Kubota.
The small Kubota, and then they have the little 0-turn, and they still have the old, what is it, a Ford?
Yeah, it's a Ford tractor, but John told me that that one was not, he couldn't use it. It was not operable. He couldn't get it fixed.
I believe that's correct.
It is, yeah. I'll have to talk with him, but I'm pretty sure I thought we had done that repaired. but I'll get with him and make sure.
Okay, well, um, with all the rain,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is good.
it's, you guys are, need all the help you can get, I know, so. Okay, I guess next item is status airport layout plan. I know y'all are working on that, Mike.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, committee members, I'm not real proud of this one at this time on our schedule. We're behind. I'll admit that. We found some, the state has some LiDAR mapping that's available, so we're downloading that for the contour information and to apply to the airport layout plan. We got the airport layout plan redrafted. We had to start from scratch on that. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you progress. We've been looking at the the non-aeronautical use areas, if you will. Basically, down behind the snow removal building where that slope comes down, and some of the other areas that grade-wise wouldn't really accommodate hangars or aircraft operations, trying to look at opportunities there. Light industrial applications, but also maybe some solar. We're seeing a lot of solar activity in the state. So to me, some of those areas may be appropriate for that as far as, so we're trying to look into that. The water line cost estimate to bring the water line was revised with utilities. So we're bringing that into the narrative to get the water line extended up to the airport. And the current thinking is a smaller line with a reservoir up there. And then I know, Rod, this is dear to you, also allow for a connection down at the Soils Amendment facility, the sludge site, if possible. The other thing is we've finished pretty much the inventory, the hangar, building heights, stuff like that. We're looking into the big hangar, what's possible with that old hangar down there. So we're working on that as well. So it's been kind of slow. And then the other thing is we have had a preliminary meeting on the capital improvement program going forward. So we'll be drafting up as well. So.
Okay, one issue that you indicated to me was your surveys. Does this include a boundary survey for the airport property?
No, we found a plat that looks real, if you will. It overlays well on what we have been showing on the boundary. So we weren't planning on going in and doing a boundary survey. Sometimes FAA requires that. They did not on this project. So we don't have that in there. One thing I will mention, I need to coordinate with Danny and I guess the city clerk to go back and get the original deed. I think it was several transactions on the airport, so we can record that properly on the airport layout plan. That is something FAA has been stressing most recently. So we've got to get that property map up to their requirements, but it doesn't necessarily require a property survey. And in this case, I think the property we're showing is sound.
Okay, could you share a copy of that plat with us?
No, I have not. I don't believe.
I know you haven't, but I guess, would you do that, please?
Okay, let me make a note of that.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
how many acreage is the airport right now?
It's more than 6. I don't know. I apologize. Sorry, that's a smart ass comment. I don't have that on my fingertips, but I can get that up pretty quick and email that out.
Rough idea, just
Hold on.
because I'd like to know if it's 6 or 60 or 600.
Yeah, no, it's more than 60. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Where did you find that plat?
Actually, either Danny or John, I think, dug it up. Or maybe it was in some of our real old files.
So somebody just was able to find one,
Yes, sir.
printed out before.
Yeah, let me get to the right file. I'm sorry, this is. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up a drawing file, so it's taking a second.
Was there something on the wall? Is there not a plaque on the wall?
Well, it's not.
Yeah, that's not bad. I did have a question. Is the internet included in what he's doing to access out there? Or is that just the items?
Well,
Is
I
one,
think the internet help. The internet, right? I don't think.
and
Here.
I bet, you know,
yeah, you know, it's, we can certainly ask him. The problem has been that, the, it's basically down.
I thought Denver Gate was putting in some, and we didn't follow through with that.
It seems like, I mean, they could get service out there easy.
Yeah, they should,
But there was, I mentioned it before.
because we had broached that subject
But it's a
a year ago.
When I brought that up, they said that it's that security within the city network is like last after they needed something. But since the city IT people have to be involved in it. So
Maybe that's what the whole thing was.
can we do, because that would be neat up. That one
You
time.
Yeah,
Mike, if you can't find it,
that's all right.
that's okay, but.
Yeah, I will dig it up and forward that to you guys. I'll send out an email later. The drawing I
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
pulled up is not, but it's significant.
I thought it might be.
I guess one of the questions the wastewater department is using some of that land. Is that still part of, that was part of the airport? Is that still part of the airport, or has that been conveyed?
That is something that I don't know the answer to that yet. If that was formally transferred. If it wasn't, I think the requirement is, or there's some sort of a letter of agreement or something between the within the city, if you will. I know they're both city departments, but we need to show how that was done when we update the airport layout plan property map to be able to, because I think the deed will show the boundary, and then I know that I believe, like you said, some of that property is used for the sled site.
I'm sure it is.
So as a technical matter with FAA, we do need to show that that transfer or agreement or use or formalize that somehow. Anyway, so that's a good question. So we need to figure that out. So
Okay.
that was a long time ago, because I actually worked on the grading plan for that site back in 1987 or so. So it's a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, I worked on it in the 80s too, so on the construction side, Mike.
Yeah.
We got another question.
Yes, sir.
From Carrie.
Is the internet access out there part of your plan or?
It's going to be not in depth, if you will, but we're going to identify it as a real need, especially economic development, because that service out there is lacking. It's hit and miss, as you guys know, probably know, and just John Aragon's access is off and on. They've had a lot of trouble with that, and I know they've talked to, I think it's CenturyLink, but upgrading that is going to be part of the economic development plan as well as part of the CIP, and not fundable, if you will, from FAA, but I think it's something that needs to be considered.
Well, doesn't the FAA use, I mean, how, with their facilities up there, don't they rely on the internet access as well?
I'm not sure on that. A lot of their equipment is still pretty old school and it's hardwire. But that doesn't, so I don't mean hardware, but I mean, it's, doesn't necessarily rely on internet. And I may be wrong on this, so we'll have to check into that. That's a good point. I hadn't considered the ASOS up there. How are they doing it?
I would think he's thought that.
There is typically a interface, and it's actually, in the past, we used to have to use copper phone lines for that, but that world has changed a little bit. But that, I know they did some upgrade up there about 2 years ago, and I'll have to coordinate that with FAA. Let me make a note of that, because that's a good question.
Well, it's not much better than it has been. It has been a problem, and I think it continues to be, right? So,
yeah.
But
if we're looking for some sort of development up there, not a hangar, but a commercial or industrial, light industrial, something like that. We talked about the fire training facility previously. I think there was interest in a movie studio type thing. That's going to be a requirement on people, or a selling point, if you will, one way or the other, good or bad, when there's these companies looking at sites. So as we know, I mean, we're all connected, and we have somehow get that upgraded.
Well, on comment here, I guess if you're running wire lines, that's a potential thing, right? I mean, I don't know if they can run fiber in the same trenches as that, but is there fiber down that hill for the county? Probably.
yeah,
So if they're running trenches and getting fiber, there probably should be in the plans, it seems.
I know, yeah, as the gate went over, but when we're having all the issues that.
Part of the issue, I think, with getting the existing system upgraded is the revenue. CenturyLink or whomever it is probably not real excited about running a new line up there when you have 3 or 4 users.
yeah.
But if
And
you had,
you can't blame them, but that still leaves us with a marginal connection.
absolutely. So our friends at Economic Development, maybe they have a hand in this and can help. Economic Development Department, something like that. So we'll try to identify what that is, and maybe have some discussion about funding. There is a fair amount of funding out there for rural data upgrades, internet, if you will. I know, but I'm not sure how that relates to the airport. I'm not sure how it will qualify. Maybe it does, maybe it does, I don't know. Yeah.
And my understanding is Desert Gates, a large part of their business is not fiber optics, it's air fiber where they're actually shooting a radio signal out of it, so they don't have to bury cable or anything.
Right.
We had problems with the fuel pumps. We had Desert Gate. I met them there.
Yeah.
And they looked at it, said it'd be easy. We put one little receiver right here, street tower on the tower, and you're hooked up.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that involved price wise. It wasn't that. It's a whole lot less than laying copper and wire. And
We don't lay copper lines.
well, whatever, fiber optic.
There you go.
Whatever. But I mean, I don't, and it didn't get done, and I don't know. I think CenturyLink redid their line underneath the railroad track, and sort of solve the problem and so we didn't proceed on.
Yeah.
But it'd be as simple.
Technology wise, it's easy, but the designate, they mentioned some kind of security thing.
Yeah, maybe that was one of the holdups. And CenturyLink actually did improve their connection up there, so we weren't losing our fuel pumps every time it spit a little storm.
Right at the end of the way.
And people land in there and you can't get fuel. Yeah,
I guess,
but I think that's,
yeah, we appreciate if you can kind of check into that. That's kind of a big
Yeah,
deal.
no, those are good comments. I appreciate that. And we do have the connectivity as on our list, but these are all good points. And I will check with FAA on their tech ops to see how they're doing it. If they're still just copper or what, if that's data or if it's just analog, if you will, digital or analog. And yeah.
Okay. Obviously, one of the things that you will, or I just wanted to note that the old terminal building is now gone, and kudos to the city for taking that step to remove the.
Really
the old-
clean that up.
It looks much better.
Yeah.
Did you have something else, Tom?
Yeah, it's a business, new business. Radar coverage in our valley is non-existent when you're flying, there, and my son-in-law's into this, and he's like, well, you just put a thing in our office on internet, and it's real easy to do. I don't know if you guys know about that. I don't know about that, but to get, I guess it's a simple thing, and I don't know if it's the city, or he's like, no, you can do it as personal things.
Radar?
To get our, like when we're on the. So we're on our, what do you call it, radar, we're on when you go, I mean, I look at them in Flight 24 and stuff, to track the planes.
like FlightAware or
Yeah,
whatnot.
like FlightAware and stuff.
To,
And other people use it. I mean, we use it like when we're talking to flight following,
mhm.
they'll lose, like if I'm coming out of Albuquerque, as soon as I drop over the pass, I get off of it because I won't be on radar. So apparently that's a simple thing, according to my son-in-law, that you put it, like we do, put it on our shop and there. I'm not familiar with that, or if that should be part of this, or it's something we just go do, I guess. Yeah, I'm not real familiar with it, so I didn't know if anybody else was familiar with that, or it's kind of, if we want to get radar coverage in the valley a little better, if that's of interest to anybody.
To get better weather and whatnot. Do it.
So let's keep it on the same,
Instead of radar, and you get coverage in the mountains a lot better. That's the reason.
well, it's the same connection, I think, that we get the weather and the plane. It's that same thing, I think. So I think once we get that, we get coverage. So I mean, we get it, we get it. You don't have to take that high until we get anything.
But, yeah,
I could learn more about it.
yeah, very good.
Probably be good if you could learn a little more about it, because
I don't know if anybody else knows more about it.
no, I don't. Okay,
I'll try to learn more about it.
appreciate that.
There is some restrictions to radar and line of sight.
Right.
Yeah,
But yeah.
usually, I mean, once you're up a little ways, it's not a big deal. There, in the mountains, there is some real restrictions. And
But
yeah,
there's no-
maybe there are some little repeaters and things you can put up.
Like when I'm in other airports, it shows you right on the ground. But not here, like here you gotta be like 2,000 feet up before you'll pop on the thing.
Right, you lose, but they lose sight of you on their radar if you get much below 9,000 feet.
Right, so like over for you speak, I'm like, I get off the plane and show it.
Right, if you're on flight following, they'll lose you when you get below.
So I think that's something we can, apparently that's an easy fix for here if we want to do it. Is that,
Really? I don't know.
I'll learn more about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know if anybody else knew more about it.
No.
No.
Any other discussion on the airport layout plan? Gentlemen? Daniel?
I did text John, and John says that it's about 1,300 acres. They're
Really?
Oh,
Thank you.
Wow.
okay.
Bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah, me too. Thanks. We'll say 2,800 acre feet,
28?
2,800 acre.
Yeah, he said he believes it's 1,300, but
Well, I think
1,300.
we'll rely on Mike's, research. And
Yeah.
see what we
To
can.
find out.
No, that sounds accurate. John's probably looking at the plat, so. Yeah,
Okay. Final thing, just Compass Rose repainting. I think
Well, so
we'll
this
just,
must have been discussed last meeting
well,
when I was not here.
I guess
Yeah.
it was my understanding the city had to finish some repainting of the Compass Rose after the, crack season. And I just wondered what the status was.
Cool. I don't know. I haven't walked out on the.
when I talked to John, they took real good care of it and just kind of, they were able to leave it, paint it the way it was. But John and Bill will go up there and they're gonna go ahead and refresh the paint.
There's some paint on the hangar where
Is there?
that, is left over from painting that Compass Rose.
Yeah, I know John and Bill will go ahead and
Yeah,
refresh.
they
the
may
paint.
not know that it's in there. John told me to put it in there when we finished. And it's been there since. So I'm sure it's all right. But it had some of the blue, I think, is in there that is. There may be some milk, I don't.
Well, now we'll go ahead and get what they need to
Yeah.
actually refresh it up and get it back to bright.
Just, I just like to put it to bed one way or the other. If it's finished or if they need to do a little, but let's get it finished. That came up at the last meeting, I think, and.
Yeah, because I don't remember that coming up, but then I'm with you and. The paint, the crack seal has been since the last meeting that I've been.
Good.
And I did notice, I think they tried to walk, kind of, paint, do the crack seal around.
Yeah.
Compass Rose.
They protected it.
Yeah, the ladies are happy with that.
Okay,
But
well,
yeah,
as long as.
my wife was like, so,
That's
they
right.
didn't paint it. They didn't go over the Compass Rose.
As long as they're happy, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Any other comments, questions, discussion? That brings us to adjournment, gentlemen. I would need a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Motion from Bob,
Second.
second from Doc. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah.
Attendance.
When they were painting that Compass Rose, I equated to hurting.
Yeah.
But they're women out there.